Welcome to Michigan Out of Doors. I'm Jenny Olson. We've got a brand new show for you this week, and as promised, we'll show you how I did with the camera over in the thumb area for the opening couple of days of firearm deer season. I spent some time up in a tree with a friend of mine, and then I headed to a buck pull in the same area, and that's becoming quite a tradition in that area of the state. Jimmy's also got some fun stuff for us this week, too.
Well, that's right, Jenny. We do have a few more things on this week's show, and actually one of those stories is not too far from where you did your opening day story. It's going to be kind of from the thumb area, and it's going to be really one of the first times you're ever going to see someone hunt in the state of Michigan with air guns. This is the first year that that's been legal. You're going to learn all about that on this week's show. And we're going to have a new product for you as well, made right here in the state of Michigan. Some guys that have made a tree stand that you can hunt 360 degrees around a tree. Lots of good stuff on this week's show. You stay tuned. I'm Jimmy Gretzinger, and it's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan, Michigan out of doors. Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy, the wonder and the love of Michigan. As the wind comes whispering through the trees, the sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream. It's the love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Greenstone Farm Credit Services, making recreational land ownership possible across Michigan and northeast Wisconsin. Begin your land financing journey at one of Greenstone's 37 locations or visit greenstonefcs.com. By Meijer, a destination for hunting, fishing, and camping. From bug spray and tents to GPS and gas, Meijer has nearly everything you need to take on nature and get you there. Meijer. By Showspan, producing consumer shows including the Ultimate Fishing Show, Detroit, January 8th through 11th at Novi's Suburban Collection Showplace. The show features fishing tackle, fishing trips, fishing boats, and seminars on all Michigan game fish. The Ultimate Fishing Show, Novi, January 8th through 11th. By Country Smokehouse, offering a variety of meat products. Country Smokehouse is located 3 miles south of I-69 on M53, just south of Imlay City. Country Smokehouse is a meat processor, a butcher, and a destination for sportsmen.
Doug, good morning.
Good morning.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Happy opening day.
Absolutely. I can't wait.
So you got a good spot picked out back there?
I sure hope so.
All right. Do you guys usually see deer on opening day?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, see just about every day we go out.
Awesome. All right, cool. Are those guys decent in the camper?
They should be.
Good morning.
Oh, jeez. How are you?
Happy opening day.
Thank you. Are you going to be warm enough?
Oh, yeah, I hope so.
Oh, yeah.
How are you guys?
Good. First timer here.
All right. What's your name? Hunter. Well, shoot.
Yeah.
That's going to be some good luck out there.
I hope so.
Well, Mark, how you feeling about it?
Good.
Yeah?
Very good. Very excited.
Cool. All right.
Get the bones working, we'll be all right.
Sounds good.
Should be fun.
Yeah.
So this was opening day in K-Pac with brothers Mark and Doug Schmidt and their buddies Mark and Hunter Ketterer. We were looking for some fun indeed. With hopes of seeing one of those big old farmland bucks on opening day, Mark Schmidt grabbed his shotgun and hit the stand. K-Pac sits just a bit north of I-69 at the base of Michigan's Thumb Country. Mark and his brother Doug have owned this 40 acres for many years now and have learned with all the open fields surrounding them, this little chunk of heaven holds lots of deer, especially once the firearm seasons begin. Sitting on the edge of a thick, swampy tangle of woods, Mark and I started seeing deer right away.
grunting and everything.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Well, what's the plan, Mark?
We're gonna go get coffee.
I like the way you think.
And lots of it.
I think it was 20 degrees today out here.
Was it really?
Yeah.
That's cold. And then the beautiful wind and the snow. It was a good morning, though. We seen deer.
Yep.
By 11 o'clock, we were all back at camp with very similar reports. Mark and Hunter had seen lots of does and 1 buck, but had no clear shots. Doug made his way back in to report seeing 6 does and fawns, but not 1 buck. The guys headed across the road to check in with the neighbors at Pheasant Ridge Hunt Club to see how they had done this morning. The owner of the place didn't get one, but his brother Vince dropped a nice 8-point.
Just came in, watching me and my daughter sitting in the blind, and the whole morning sitting there not seeing anything, and she got up to stretch and looked out the window and seen a doe and yearling laying right next to us about 15 feet away. Then he come in and to my left and started chasing the doe around, seen him and dropped him. So
Sweet. What time was that?
around 8:30 this morning.
Nice.
8:30, 9 o'clock. Thank you.
Very cool. Well, Vince's story inspired us to get back out to the stand. So after a quick lunch and some hot coffee, that's exactly what we did. We had heard from other hunters in the area that things were a little slow this year. Judging by the number of shots we heard on opening day, the guys said things were very slow compared to years past. Out here at Mark's stand, the does and fawns kept us entertained, but by the end of the second day of the season, we had not seen another buck since that little one right off the bat on opening day. I had to pack it up and leave after day 2, but I can tell you there's not a better group of guys to hunt with than the Schmidts and the Ketterers out here on this little chunk of land outside of K-Pac. Special thanks to all of them for letting me tag along on their opening weekend. On day 3, I received a text from Mark with some good news. He was able to connect with a big-bodied 6-point out here. And speaking of bucks, there were some bruisers hanging on the pole at Dick Hoovar's dealership down the road in Richmond. It's become a tradition to stop in and see some of the successful hunters in the area. The buck pole here is quite a social event with plenty of vendors and entertainment for the whole family. I caught up with Kim Jugowitz, the general manager here at Dick Hoovar's, to see how things were going this year.
What are you hearing from people out here?
Hearing it's a little slow this year. Not sure why. A lot of different theories on it. So we had 23 last night, and what do we got? 16 tonight. So we've had more deer in the past, but good-sized ones here. So
What do you hear? What's the one thing people love about your buck pull here?
that nobody else does it. That there's nothing like this around, and hunting is so much embedded in this community that it's just a no-brainer. They're coming, they're going to be here. What can we do? Everybody's buying raffle tickets because they know the money's going to Wounded Warrior, Path Foundation. So now that it's going in the 4th year, you hear in the community, everyone's just talking about, you going to Hoovar's for the buck pull. We're going to be at Hoovar's for the buck pull. So, and it's a good thing. It's good.
There's a lot of young hunters here today with big bucks.
This is the biggest year for youth entries. We've had 7 youth entries already, so
Very cool.
between the 2 nights. So only 2 women though. So we're looking for our women hunters. I don't know where they are this year.
Well, I wasn't even going to go out, actually, but I decided just to go out there to see what would happen. And I was on my way to the stand, just walking down my trail, and I didn't even make it there, and I scared him up. And he stopped, and I stopped, and I just waited. It seemed like forever, and I didn't know what he was going to do, and he came around to check me out, and once I seen what he looked like, and I had a good shot, I let him have it.
Oh, was your heart just pounding away?
I was so geeked, just the wait for him to get the good shot.
Yeah.
It was just insane.
Awesome. Is this the biggest buck you've ever shot?
This is my first buck I've ever
What?
shot. Yeah.
first buck. Now, who taught you how to hunt? Who got you into hunting?
My dad. I've been going since I was a kid.
Okay.
But I haven't gone in so long. I haven't gone since like high school.
Okay.
It's been about 10 years.
Oh my goodness. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So I got it opening day at 7:30 a.m.
Okay.
And looking out the one window, me and my dad were sitting there and seen something out of the corner of my eye, so I looked in the thick and I grabbed the gun because I seen the deer and I put it on it's right behind his shoulder and seen it had some good horns, so I shot, racked, and it ran off into an opening a little bit farther away, and we just watched it until we couldn't see it no more, and it went down about 30 yards away from where I shot it, and then about 30 minutes later we walked over there and it was right where we last seen it.
Oh, that's exciting. Was it killing you just waiting?
Yeah, it was the longest 30 minutes of my life.
Oh, this is an awesome
But it was really good though.
Well, I had some success in that same stand during bow season, and I had been seeing all my deer to my right side, so I was concentrating on that side. And of course I had some squirrels on my left side that were driving me crazy. And I heard some noise in the leaves. I thought it was the squirrels again. After about the third noise I heard, I had to turn around, and this was about 20 yards facing me.
Oh.
And I had my gun down between my legs, and I had my hands in my pockets. And,
so mad scramble?
Yes, it was. Luckily, I was able to get my gun up and get it on him and get the shot.
Oh my goodness. Did he go very far?
Pardon me? Oh, he ran about 30 yards.
Okay.
And I'd like to put a big thanks out to a person that really brought me along. Went through all my trials and tribulations with me when you first started hunting. To Ron Henschel. Thank you, Ron.
The talk of the town here was this incredible 15-point buck taken by 17-year-old Salvatore Marinello.
It was around like 3:40, and there was a 4-point that came out earlier. And I called my dad. I was like, "Can I shoot him?" And he goes, "No, wait for something bigger." I was like, "Okay." So I was like waiting and waiting. All of a sudden, this one came out, and I was like, it was around 50 yards, and he stopped from walking. I hurried up, got my gun out, and I shot him. He ran around like 100 yards.
Yeah.
And I got my dad and my 2 other buddies to come track him. Took a while to track him though.
Did you thank your dad 100 times for telling you to pass on that 4-point?
Yeah.
15-year-old LJ Baseda was up next with his big buck.
He came in limping. I guess he got shot in the leg this morning, and I dropped him. I shot him right through the lungs, and he just dropped in his tracks. Yeah.
So you didn't really have time to get too much buck fever when he was just running when you got him?
Yeah, well, he was limping, so he was running pretty slow.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Well, that is cool.
Phil Ballard took this 152-inch 10-point on opening day. The outside spread on this rack is 23.5 inches.
I shot him on November 15th, about 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my goodness! Look at this buck. Yep. So tell me,
he was coming through the woods, a bunch of down ash all around him, and all I could see was the antlers. And I've been hunting that spot since I was a kid. Same spot, never moved. Built a second blind last year because the first one was all falling down.
Yeah.
So haven't given up on the spot, and finally came through for me.
Oh wow! So did you know this buck was out there?
I heard he was out there. Other people had pictures of him and stuff like that, but I've been doing too much farming to do any scouting, so just went to my same old spot that I go every year, and yep, he came through.
Congratulations. So what did this buck score?
He scored 152 inches.
And what is the spread on this thing?
23.5 inches.
23.5. Yep. This is incredible.
There were lots of young hunters here tonight, and the youngest of them all was 7-year-old Austin Ballas celebrating his second buck of the season.
Are you kidding me? This is your buck?
Yeah.
Whoa, how old are you?
7.
7 years old. What's your name?
Austin.
Well, you're his grandpa. Maybe you can tell us the story. Were you out there with him?
Yeah.
Tell me what happened.
I don't know. He just like, get ready, and then take my glove off. And he's talking again and said, take my other glove off. And the deer just stood there and waited for him to shoot it.
Are you excited or what?
Yeah.
And all he kept saying is, I seen 3 on one side. Then he didn't want to wait to go get it.
Is this your first deer ever, Austin?
No.
You shot a deer before? What'd you shoot?
A 2-point.
A 2-point? When'd you do that? How old were you?
7.
7, you did it this year?
Opening day on the youth hunt.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Congrats to everyone who took part in this year's firearm deer season. All in all, the number of successful hunters seemed a little low this year here in southeast Michigan. And while we all dream of tagging that monster buck on November 15th, that's just the icing on the cake. Perhaps the bigger part of deer season is reconnecting with good friends, telling old stories, and making new memories right here in Michigan's Out of Doors.
Well, like we said earlier, we're going to show you something that is legal for the first time here in the state of Michigan, and that is hunting white-tailed deer with an air gun. A week or so back found me in the thumb doing something I have never done, hunting deer with an air gun. That's right, this is the first season it's legal to hunt whitetail with an air gun in southern Michigan. So before we actually hit the woods, Joe Searing from Crossman ran me through what these guns are all about.
At Crossman Benjamin, we come up with the new big bore air gun, 357 caliber. In the state of Michigan this year, legalized air gun hunting for whitetails with, I believe it's a 35 caliber or bigger, so this qualifies as a legal gun to hunt whitetail deer with here in the southern zone for Michigan. So we came out here to give it a test. What it is, it's called a pre-charged pneumatic. You fill the gun up to 3,000 psi. You need an external source, such as an air tank we have over here with the Zert type fitting. You hook up the air source and you fill the gun up to 3,000 psi. Has a gauge right here, it lets you know when you're properly filled and that you don't overfill it. When you fill it up with about 3,000 psi, that gives you approximately 5 shots before you have to refill it again. And 5 consistent shots is the big thing. You can probably get more than 5, but the main thing is to be consistent and have enough air to drive that pellet so you're consistently hitting in the same spot. Comes with a clip on it. It's actually a almost bolt action type lever action. Comes with a 5-round self-indexing clip. When I put it in there and bolt it, it takes the first pellet comes out, goes in the chamber. When I bolt it again, it indexes down, I get the next pellet in.
We hunted for 2 days and I didn't see much of anything, but Joe did have a very close call. These guns are only effective on big game to about 50 yards, and this deer at 30, well, it never gave him a good clean look, and that was our best look in 2 days. But I did learn a lot about air guns.
It's a 177, has about an 8-grain pellet, 7.8, shoots around 12 up to 1,400 feet per second with about 12 foot-pounds of energy. Next is what's becoming more and more popular is a 22 caliber pellet. You see the difference. You go from about a 8-grain pellet to about a 14.5 grain pellet. You give up a little bit of speed. Now you're down to between 800 and 1,000 feet per second, but you get more energy. Because of the size of the pellet, it has more energy when it gets there. The biggest to date, basically mass-produced air gun is a 25 caliber. You can find them pretty easy if you look around. They're not in stock in every retailer, but online and a few major retailers will carry a 25 caliber. Now you're up to a pellet that's about 25 grain weight, and you're getting closer to the 30 foot-pounds of energy. With the 177, if you're going to hunt small game, let's say such as a squirrel, you want to make absolutely sure you hit them in the head. It's a very shot placement. If you miss a very critical area such as the head, they're going to run away. A 22 has a little bit more foot-pounds of energy. It widens your kill range a little bit on the squirrel. When you use a 25 caliber, that really lengthens out to basically you can shoot it anywhere you would with a 22 rimfire, and that 25 caliber will take it. And then with the 357, we have a 145 grain Nosler actually makes this bullet for us. It has the plastic tip, With 145 grain, this gun is going to shoot about 800 feet per second and give you about 180 foot-pounds of energy, where you go from about 11 foot-pounds of energy with a 177, we're up to 180 foot-pounds of energy with the 357. And when you're talking air guns, foot-pounds of energy is important because you don't have the speed of a rifle, so you need the energy when it gets there.
These guns were very accurate and should be thought of much like a crossbow as far as hunting conditions and shot placement. I really want to see what these will do on a deer, so look for more hunts in the future and maybe some rabbit hunting this winter with that .25 caliber. Just seems like there is always some new toys to try here in Michigan's Out of Doors. Hey, we're here today with Dan McGillicuddy with a brand new tree stand that is actually everything you're going to see here is made in the state of Michigan. This is the TreeOps 360. Dan, tell me a little bit, how did you even come up with this idea for this tree stand?
Well, I used to hunt out of a sling, and I
Okay.
really enjoyed that. You face the tree, you can rotate, pivot, do everything you need to do to get your shot off. However, you can't do it for very long. So I wanted to come up with something that I could hunt dark to dark.
Okay, now I think we already have the base set up on the tree here, so this is an important piece of the equation here, and you can have as many of these as you want. But you get to the tree, show me how this thing works.
Well, you're going to come out to the tree. All you're going to do is take your swing arm, pop it on the post, push it down. You're going to grab your seat, put it in. As simple as that, you're ready to hunt.
Okay, now climb up in this thing and show me kind of how this would work in a hunting scenario.
I'm climbing up my sticks. I'm going to slide it over to me. I'm going to sit down, and I'm ready to go. Put my feet on the pegs, and I just pivot. I put the balls of my feet on the pegs, and I just pivot.
Wow.
Very quiet, very strong. You're able to get a shot every direction around the tree. And yet, if something comes from behind me, I can pivot out and get that shot too.
Now, as far as wearing a tree harness of any kind, normal ones would work, but you still want to use one of those, I'm assuming.
Yes, you always have to have a safety harness. In fact, you don't even climb into the stand without being connected to the tree.
Okay. Now, this thing, obviously, it's pretty quiet. Now, you've obviously used this in a hunting scenario.
That's correct.
Do you try to keep the tree between you and the deer? Is that kind of the plan? Or?
I do try to. However, actually, the favorite tree that I have, I've actually killed 4 bucks in 4 different directions out of the same scenario.
Yeah, show me that motion again. So if you're going to be drawn back on a deer.
So if I'm facing the tree and the deer comes from over here, I'm going to pivot over here and keep the tree between me and the deer. I'm able to pull back and I can get any shot over in this direction. I can get any shot in this direction. I can also pivot further. If the deer goes that way, and say I hear a deer behind me, I can pivot out this way. It's a matter of using the balls of your feet and your upper torso, just pivoting your hips.
Wow.
There's not a spot around the tree that I cannot get a shot.
Okay. How much does this unit weigh? So you would be taking this arm with you out to every stand?
Correct. The arm and the seat weigh roughly 20 pounds.
Okay.
And basically, I just pack them in on my back.
Okay.
Very quick, very easy. I just hook them to my backpack.
And these, you would say, you know, this takes a little bit of time to put on the tree, and you want to make it nice and level, and you can use kind of weirdo trees too.
Yep,
that are okay.
Yep. You can plumb it up in any tree. That 25-degree tree that you used to never be able to hunt out of, you can now hunt out of it. You plumb it up with the leveling rods, and basically the idea is if you have 4 or 5 spots that you want to hunt, you set up 4 or 5 of the tree mounts.
Okay.
And then all you do is take the other end, and you can see how quick and easy it was to set up.
Great.
And go from tree to tree.
Well, Dan, like most inventors, you don't just have one product. Tell me about some of the other stuff that you guys manufacture here in Michigan.
Well, we have a tripod and a bucket lid. The tripod 360 uses the same seat, and the bucket lid uses the same seat. Basically, it's all one system. You take your seat off, you're going to come over to the tripod 360, pop it in. Now you got your chair for hunting out of a ground blind.
Okay, so that'd be, and this what I'm assuming is for ice fishing kind of application.
That's
here.
correct. It's just a bucket lid. Pop it right on any 5-gallon bucket that you may have.
Okay.
You're going to use the same seat. Boom.
Nice. Well, if you'd like more information on these tree stands, stay tuned to the credits, where we will have their contact information.
Thanks for joining us this week for Michigan Out of Doors. As always, you can check us out online, and you can do that a couple of different ways. You can go to our website at michiganoutofdoorstv.com, or you can check us out on Facebook at Michigan Out of Doors TV. On the Facebook page, you can see all sorts of fun stuff, and you can see how your fellow Michigan Out of Doors TV viewers are doing. Lots of deer photos are posted there as well. We've got all kinds of fun stuff coming up for you over the next few weeks too.
Well, coming over the next few weeks here in Michigan Out of Doors, lots of good stuff. We got some steelhead fishing, some elk hunting from northern Michigan, some waterfowl hunting, a ride along with a conservation officer. So much stuff happening right now. Make sure you're joining us every week here on Michigan Out of Doors. And if we don't see you in the woods or on the water, hopefully see you right back here next week.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Jay's Sporting Goods with locations in Clare and Gaylord. Jay's, serving the Michigan outdoor enthusiast since 1971 with a wide variety of outdoor products. The gear, the knowledge, the tradition of Jay's, on the web at jaysportinggoods.com. By Chappelle, providing sleds, shelters, and accessories for your time on the ice. Chappelle offers a line of pop-ups, flipovers, and the Bay Runner, a mobile cabin with a shelf for electronics and a sliding seat. On the web at chappelle.com. By Propane, exceptional energy. Propane retailers promote the safe use of Michigan-produced gas energy in homes, farms, and businesses across our great state. Learn more at usemichiganpropane.com. By Meyer, a destination for hunting, fishing, and camping. From bug spray and tents to GPS and gas, Meyer has nearly everything you need to take on nature and get you there. Meyer. Closed captioning is brought to you by Propane, exceptional energy. Propane retailers promote the safe use of Michigan-produced gas to outdoor enthusiasts across our great state.